All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for taking a little bit of your time today to sit with me on this fun little webinar that's only going to be 30 minutes. So I am going to keep it nice and tight. I'm not even going to wait for anyone else to hop on and join us because I know our time is limited today and they can always watch the recording after this presentation is over. So welcome to Greece is a Word. I'm getting weekly to bi-weekly updates from my leadership team now that is letting us know which trips are booking well versus which ones are trending up, trending down, and kind of staying flat. And the reason that I wanted to highlight it is I'm going to start hosting maybe every 2 weeks a couple of these types of webinars where I really focus on trending trips so that you guys are constantly aware of what is moving in the market, especially with the market being as challenging as it is right now. So just wanted to give you guys the confidence to know that we are still seeing lots of bookings coming through. Particular destinations are definitely shining over others. Domestic travel is definitely seeing a big resurgence. And out of nowhere, Greece took off. We saw about a 16% increase in Greece bookings, and that was just within the last 2 weeks. So destinations like Greece are still going to be quite popular, and traditional European destinations, of course, will remain popular as well. Hopefully everybody can hear me clearly. I have everybody's camera off as well as muted, but if you want to go ahead and throw any questions into the chat, I'm more than happy to help answer those as we go along or at the end of the presentation. But yeah, if everybody can just type in a quick hello in the chat just to make sure you can hear me and that everybody's chat feature is working, that way we can get started here. Perfect, Camille. Thank you so much. All right. Thanks, Sharon. So we are going to go ahead and jump into this. Hey, Lori. All right. So Greece is the word. We are going to focus primarily on Greece on this very short 30-minute webinar. The training overview really kind of has us pivoting, or the first part of the presentation is going to be a fun way for you guys to pivot most of your clients to guided travel, because I have an advisor within my territory who wants to remain anonymous, but he is incredibly effective at pivoting guests away from all kinds of travel, specifically FIT, but even cruising, where he moves them into our guided brands using kind of a value proposition and really using his attentive listening skills to kind of move them towards a guided tour. He loves selling our guided trips because he knows we're going to deliver a great product to his clients. At the same time, he saves a bunch of time booking a guided tour over an FIT. And of course, when you save time and make multiple bookings with us, those commissions are going to start to add up right away. And then the second part of the presentation, and really the final part, will be on Greece. We're going to highlight 3 specific trips that are incredibly popular that are booking right now. And by the way, the 3 trips that I'm highlighting are all definite departures. That's how popular they are. They're definite departures in 26 and 2027. So they're already selling out for 27, which is why these are the perfect trips to recommend to your clients, especially those who have never been to Greece before. So let's go ahead and jump into the first part of the presentation here. For those that have attended previous webinars with myself, we always talk about the consultative selling process. It's critical. The better you get at this, the better your bookings become. You get to really sit back and listen to what your guest needs are and easily identify it. So let's go over a brief overview on the consultative selling process. So consultative selling isn't about pushing products. It's really about guiding a great conversation with your clients. And it starts with opening up their curiosity and never with judgment, right? So first, we want to discover their needs by asking these great open-ended questions, listening carefully, and then digging into the why behind what a customer wants. Then we're going to tailor solutions, not with like a one-size-fits-all sales pitch, but with recommendations that feel like they were made just for them. Next, we're going to collaborate. We're going to be working alongside with the customer to help build the right path forward, rather than working them through what a lot of salespeople do, is just kind of moving them through that sales funnel. And then once the solution is in sight, we're going to deliver value. We're going to explain features, advantages, and benefits in a way that connects directly to their goals and what they want to experience on their next vacation. And finally, we're going to follow up. We're going to stay engaged. We're going to provide an additional relationship that matters long after the contract is signed. This is where I think a lot of us potentially struggle is, we'll get the booking, we want to go out and make another booking, and we kind of forget how important that last booking we made was. So staying in touch with your clients, even if they book on that first visit, just a quick hello of maybe a few days later, you'd be surprised how impactful that is from a client's perspective to think, wow, so-and-so Audrey just reached out to me even after I said yes to the booking. That's really thoughtful of her. And then that relationship starts to grow and build off of that. So it's a great process. It's built on trust, empathy, and partnership. And it's really what's going to help sell or set consultative selling apart from the rest of the type of sales strategies that are out there. So when we tailor a solution, we're going to shift it from describing the product to showing exactly what it means for your customer. This is called the feature advantage benefit structure, and it's really effective in any product you sell. Ideally, our guided tours, but truly it can apply to any product. So when you're looking at a feature, for example, Insight Vacations Treasures of Greece offers a premium guided journey through Greece's most iconic sites, enhanced with local experts, and it includes cultural experiences with stylish accommodations. So those are the features of promoting one of our Greece itineraries. The advantage is that it takes the complexity out of visiting historic cities and landmarks with no navigating unfamiliar roads, no waiting in lines, and no guesswork about what's truly worth seeing. On top of that, the benefit would be that your clients get to enjoy a refined, immersive experience, traveling in comfort while gaining deeper insight into Greece's history, culture, and traditions with more time to relax, connect, and savor every moment. So when I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, one of my advisors is booking us consistently. He prefers us over going FIT, and he is the master of this consultative selling process. And I think what a lot of people don't realize when it comes to selling, talking a lot is not always the best solution. You want to be a better listener than you are a better talker. So this is the exact step-by-step approach that he uses that I'm going to share with you now on how he pivots a lot of his guests directly into our guided tours. So let's go ahead and start with step one, and it's really the most important part. You are going to ask them an opening question that's incredibly simple, but also powerful. Where do you want to go and what do you want to see? This is key. Pause. At this moment, give them time to process. Let your clients really kind of talk, encourage them to describe their dream trip in their own words, and resist the urge to jump in too quickly. The less that you interrupt, the more valuable insight you're going to gain. And as they open up and share, they're going to tell you exactly what matters to them, the destinations, what they're excited about, the experiences that they don't want to miss, their concerns, their expectations. And this is where you're listening for clues that guided travel naturally can solve. Logistics, pacing, must-see sites, and of course, any stress points. So this step isn't even about selling yet. It's just about understanding what you want your clients to feel heard. They're going to feel way more open to your recommendation because if they feel heard, they're going to feel trust and they're going to want to kind of work with you. And then you're going to be able to offer a very specific solution to their dream trip, which is great. So that's step one. Let them discuss the dream trip in detail and limit expectations. Oops, sorry, I have to admit someone. So it is definitely a great approach. Now, moving on to step two. This is where once we've really listened to what your clients want, we're going to go ahead and try to match their interests. This is where you start connecting the dots for them based on everything that they just shared. Identify a guided tour that clearly aligns with their travel dreams. My top producer, what he does is literally as he's listening to them talk, he makes sure to keep eye contact, describe the experiences they want. Because he's so familiar with our brands, he starts looking up an itinerary that he feels will be a good fit for them, but he doesn't introduce it right away. So basically, he waits and listens, lets them kind of get everything out first, asks a lot of great open-ended questions, and then he finally starts to introduce the itinerary that makes the most sense. Now, he never leads by saying, "Oh, I have a great bus trip for you," or "Oh, I have a great guided group tour for you." All he does is start to repeat back to them their wish list. So essentially, he highlights each key destination, kind of reporting back to them what they just told him. So as they introduce the itinerary, he calls out the key destinations. He repeats their wish list back to them. This is incredibly powerful because it reinforces that you heard them and that this recommendation is intentional, not generic. So for example, you might say, you mentioned wanting to visit Athens, Cyprus, and Mykonos, right? Just by asking these easy questions, you'll get additional buy-in. And now that they're hearing their own words reflected back through a guided solution, it kind of makes them feel more comfortable working with you. So at this point, the tour itself isn't going to feel like a sales suggestion. It's going to feel like a great answer to what they've already wanted. And this step also helps build confidence. It's going to be kind of a natural way for you guys to move the conversation forward. And then really, you don't even want to mention that it's a guided tour yet. You're essentially just saying you wanted to see X, Y, and Z. Well, I have the perfect trip for you that covers X, Y, and Z. So you're basically letting them know this is the solution and you're going to love it. And that's when he gets their buy-in. You want to get your clients to say yes to you throughout these conversations as many times as possible. The more comfortable they are saying, yes, that's what we want to do. Yes, exactly. We do want to visit the Colosseum. Oh, yes, that's great. Psychologically, what's going on in your client's head is they're becoming more agreeable. They're like, oh, yes, 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 this is everything I wanted, and they feel more confident. So the more yeses you can get in before that final ask, it's critical. So repeating back to them exactly what they want to do is going to help enhance that conversation and move the conversation forward. So it really is about making sure that you highlight these key destination highlights before you even mention, by the way, this is a guided tour. So now you're looking at step 3. We're going to earn their buy-in. Once you've matched their interest at this stage, your goal is simple. We're going to reinforce what they already told you they want and get them to say yes as often as possible. You're still keeping the focus on the destination and the experience, not on the structure of the trip. We're going to highlight their preferences one by one and ask soft, affirming questions. Things like, you like the idea of seeing the Acropolis with an expert who can really bring the history to life, right? Or having time built in Mykonos without feeling rushed, that's important to you, right? Every yes is going to build momentum and confidence. The client's going to begin to agree emotionally and logically with the experience that you're describing without feeling like they're being sold to. So the key here is to be subtle. You're painting a picture of their ideal trip using their own priorities while positioning the itinerary as that natural fit, still without mentioning the word guided. So by the time you move into the final recommendation, the buy-in is already there. You're not introducing something new, you're simply giving a name to the experience that they've already said yes to multiple times. Now, we're moving on to step 4, which is pivoting now to a guided tour. So once you've earned that buy-in, you're ready for step 4. And this is where you confidently reveal what you've been describing all along. You can say something like, what if I've been walking you through is actually an award-winning guided experience that's operated by one of the most highly respected tour companies in the world. Pause. You need to gauge their interest at this point. Are they going to be okay with it? If there's no pushback, some clients will immediately be comfortable with the idea of a guided tour. And if you hear enthusiasm or curiosity, at that point, you can actually just move confidently forward in the process. Now, if they hesitate or say that they usually prefer to travel independently, that's okay too. It's not a roadblock, it's just a small cue. And it means that it's time to kind of build what we call a value proposition. So now you're going to begin highlighting the benefits of guided travel in a way that directly ties back to everything that they've already said yes to. You're going to see, they're seeing the right sites. They're not going to miss those iconic destinations. They're going to have an expert with them that's going to give them even more detailed inside knowledge. They're going to save time avoiding lines to get into museums. We're going to handle the logistics, which means they don't have to worry about driving or speeding tickets or and they will still have plenty of personal time built in. So the key here is confidence from you. You have to be confident in the way that you promote guided. You have to give them direct clarity. You're not switching directions yet. You're simply naming the solution that already fits their dream trip. And because you've already earned their trust step by step, this pivot will feel natural and it won't feel like you're forcing them into something that they don't want. Now, on top of that, we do want to make sure that we focus on dealing with that value proposition. And so moving on to the next step here, step 5, is we're going to build value. We're going to actually give them the opportunity to really kind of clearly and confidently highlight why guided makes so much sense, especially for the type of trip that they're envisioning. So first, we're going to talk about effortless, stress-free travel. We're going to let them know that there's no navigating unfamiliar roads, no standing in lines at major attractions, no hauling luggage from city to city. All the logistics are handled so they can focus on enjoying the experience rather than managing it. Next, we're going to emphasize that these tours offer a deeper cultural immersion. Guided travel isn't just about seeing places, it's about also understanding them. These trips are thoughtfully designed to connect travelers with local history, culture, and people through meaningful experiences. And of course, expert insight that they simply wouldn't be able to manage on their own. And then finally, something that every client cares about, value. When you compare everything that's included, transportation, accommodation, sightseeing, expert guidance, and curated experiences, guided travel is often going to be 15 to 20% more affordable than traveling independently. So it is going to be a seamless experience that delivers more for their time and money. And when you frame guided travel this way, you're not asking them to give something up. You're showing them how they gain comfort, depth, and value, all while enjoying the exact destination that they're excited about. And then one thing that he suggested too is if he gets any pushback at this level, he'll basically just directly ask them, like, why don't we just give this next trip a shot? This next destination, this next vacation, give guided travel a shot. I promise you, you're going to love it. You're going to come back and ask, where else does Trafalgar go? But let's just give this next trip a shot. What do you say? So it is an additional way to kind of gently convince them to maybe make a decision before he potentially pivots away from guided and kind of building that FIT if he really has to. So once you're past step 5, we're going to sell them with a story. You're going to become incredibly powerful if you become an effective storyteller. Because at this point, facts and features are done with, but the stories are going to create emotional connection. And all of us travel for emotional reasons. We all travel because we need a break from our everyday life. We want to relax. We want to escape. We want to enjoy the beauty of the world. So every time someone books travel, this is an emotional decision. So this is where you come in. You're going to share your personal experience with either the destinations, and if you're fortunate enough to have traveled with our brands, even better, because you can highlight a specific experience with our brands. You can talk about what surprised you, what stood out to you, or a moment that really made the trip unforgettable. Maybe it was that effortless journey, that local connection, the way things were arranged, the fantastic details our travel directors had on the trip. Pick something specific, keep it concise, but make it real. Make it like a personal story. And often this is where your clients are going to stop kind of imagining and really start visualizing themselves on this trip. And if they're not fully convinced at this point, it's okay. You've built trust, you've shown value, you've created some excitement. So from here, we're just going to have you at least perfectly positioned to move into the final ask with confidence, clarity, and of course, any momentum that's already on your side. So we're gonna sorry, I forgot the last 2 steps here, but we're gonna jump into the final ask. So on step 7, and at this point, it should feel natural. You shouldn't feel a lot of pressure. You're really just kind of moving them into that next conversation, asking them for the business. And so a great phrase, and this is all going to be recorded, so don't feel the need to write anything down. I really think this Trafalgar guided tour is perfect. The way you're going to experience the destination is going to be incredible. You're going to see so much more than you would on your own without the stress of planning, navigating, or worrying about missing these highlights. It's an incredible introduction to the destination, expertly paced, culturally immersive, and completely seamless. Then you're going to address the need for flexibility. And if you'd like some independent time, we can absolutely add post nights at the end of the trip. That way you can explore on your own. But once you're already familiar and comfortable with the destination, giving you the best of both worlds. A great curated experience plus the freedom to kind of do your own thing afterwards. So you are going to close confidently and just let them know that you genuinely think they're going to love this experience. And once they see how easy and rewarding it is, it's likely this won't be their last guided tour. So shall we go ahead and make it happen? So you really want to position guided as a solution. Never lead with, hey, this is a great guided tour. Hey, this is a great bus tour. Hey, this is a great group tour. That is immediately going to cause pushback. So we want to focus primarily on the destination, highlight the key highlights right back to them. Things they just told you, you want to highlight those right back to them. slowly start to position our itinerary as the perfect solution, reveal that it's a guided tour, and then move them into the value proposition and the final ask. So all of this will be recorded. I'll put it on my YouTube channel, and everybody who attended will get it emailed shortly after. But it's a great strategy that my top producer within the territory uses every single day. And even though we've seen a bit of a turn down overall, his bookings continue to go forward. And he's telling me that he hates, hates booking FIT. He's been in the industry for 30 plus years, takes up too much time. The commission structure is just not there to validate the time commitment. And so he prefers to just move as many people as he can into the guided tour space to save himself time. He knows we come with a great product and a great reputation, so he feels confident promoting any of our itineraries, and he's been able to continue growing his bookings with us because of it. All right, so I took a little bit longer than I meant to on that section, so let's jump into the main reason for the conversation today, Greece. We are seeing a major interest in Greece with over 16% growth in the last 2 weeks alone. It continues to be a very popular destination. So I just want to highlight 3 trips quickly with Trafalgar, Insight Vacations, and Costsaver. So the one we're going to focus on with Trafalgar is Secrets of Greece, which includes Corfu. On Insight Vacations, we're going to be focusing on Treasures of Greece and the islands. And then an incredibly popular itinerary with Costsaver that, by the way, has a 5-star rating, perfect score, Highlights of Greece with Island Explorer. So we have some great choices here for you guys to check out and hopefully recommend to your clients that are interested in exploring Greece. So Secrets of Greece and Corfu includes, I'm sorry, Secrets of Greece including Corfu is an 11-day tour covering 12 cities, 1 country, and it is considered a balanced itinerary. That means that there's typically 1 to 3 miles of walking involved per day, and I will say the majority of our trips are going to be listed as balanced. So let's look over the map here in terms of what this destination covers. And as you can see here, we actually do a nice job covering most of Greece on this itinerary. So it starts and ends in Athens, which most of our itineraries do. But you visit Delphi, Thermopylae, Meteora, Metsovo, I can't even pronounce it well, but Igoumensa, Nicopolis, Preserva, Amphilochia, as well as heading down to some of the southern islands near Olympia, Napoleon. So it's a very, very extensive journey. We have a fun Make Travel Matter experience included, which is a honey tasting in Napoleon. We have a fun Be My Guest experience with a traditional Greek dinner at the Caraballas family olive and wine farm. And of course, a great local specialist hops on multiple times, but we do a really fun visit to the Meteora monasteries, which are centuries old. So this itinerary is perfect. It combines a little bit of everything, and we do have a nice ferry that we take out to the island of Corfu as well. So a very popular destination to highlight to your clients for good reason. We are offering it as part of our early bird booking offer. So just so you guys know, we are seeing a massive spike in interest for travel in 2027, which makes sense. A lot of people are nervous about going anywhere right now because of the global conflict. So if you're looking to keep those bookings strong, start focusing on 2027. And if you go on our travel advisor portal, we haven't officially announced it, but they're live now. We have all these great 2027 departures that apply to trips that depart from January through December of 2027. And it is on select itineraries, but this is one of them. Your guest could save up to 10% on April 4th, May 30th, June 20th, or August 22nd. And the great news is all of our 2027 departures are definite. So you can book them confidently knowing that flights, everything can be added right away. With our booking offer, it's our typical terms and condition. They do need to put down a deposit when they decide to lock down the booking. Final payments will not be due until 120 days prior. Unless the tour is within 120 days, then they will need to pay right away. But typical booking structures fall on that. And then, yes, it is a big sale. You can find it on our website. Moving on to Insight Vacations, Treasures of Greece. This is the perfect 2-week tour of Greece. 14 days, 10 cities, 1 country, fully balanced itinerary. You can see in terms of the destinations, we don't cover quite as much as that first Trafalgar tour, but we do start in Athens and we actually get to enjoy 2 days there. On top of that, we actually head over to to Meteora for 2 days in Kalambaka. We visit Olympia and spend 2 days there. We do head out to the islands of Mykonos and Santorini, and you get 3 nights in each destination. So this is where our guided tours are exceptional because they combine the great land aspect, allowing us to get deeper into some of the ancient historical and cultural sites while still getting that fun and sun island experience that Greece is known for. So Make Travel Matter is a hand weaving workshop with a mother and daughter artisans. We're going to have a full day at leisure at Mykonos. So a full day for your guests to either relax or explore the island as they wish. And then some of the great inside experiences, we have a really fun hands-on cooking demonstration in Olympia as well. And we all know the Mediterranean diet is probably the most popular diet in the world. All these 2026 departures on this itinerary, by the way, are already definite. So that should give you guys some confidence knowing people are still traveling in 2026. You can book any of these itineraries for 26 and they're all definite. We don't have 27 departures available yet, but our team is saying that we'll have those on the website more than likely in mid-June to early July. On this example or this Treasures of Greece trip, you'll also be able to see the Leonidas Monument in Thermopylae. You get to visit the Arch of Hadrian in Athens, and we get to explore beautiful cities like Athens, Kalambaka, Meteora, Delphi, Mycenae, Olympia, and a few more as well. So another very popular itinerary to recommend to your clients. And then let's round it out with Costsaver. So this Greece lineup is a fantastic kind of value-driven option. Costsaver's Highlights of Greece with Island Explorer has a perfect 5-star rating with over 3 reviews, so it is a relatively new itinerary. But it's got 12 days, 6 cities, 1 country, considered a fully balanced itinerary. It's really designed for those clients who want the comfort of exploring but love visiting those iconic destinations and having tons of flexibility along the way. So if we're looking at the map here, it kind of covers a similar route to what we just saw in that Insight Vacations Treasures of Greece experience. So Cost Savers Highlights of Greece with Island Explorer has what we call choice optional experiences. So you're still going to get your typical historic city tours, museum visits, travel director, transportation. Most meals are going to be included. But what makes Cost Saver so cost effective is the majority, if not all of the experiences are going to be optional, which is perfect for those guests who want the structure of that guided tour without, with a little bit more independent to break out and do their own thing. So some of the choice optional experiences on this one is Sunset on Board, where they actually get to hop on a grand wooden cake and set off towards the Nia Kameni's Sleeping Giant. They also get to enjoy a night of Greek flavors in Siri, while they enjoy a night out in Athens' buzzing Siri district with a Metzi-style dinner. And then we also have a really cool optional experience where they can attend a traditional Greek wedding show, and it celebrates a local wedding in the 1940s style, which is a really fun, unique way to kind of dive into Greece culture and history as well. So a really popular itinerary to promote to your clients, especially those that are concerned about pricing right now. If you're not looking at Cost Saver, historically and economically, what happens is when guests perceive that there is going to be a bit of a recession approaching, they look for cost saving options, and there's really no better choice than Cost Saver when it comes to guided travel. It's backed by our family of brands, so you know the quality is going to be great. And really, the main difference is those choice experiences. They get to pick and choose which ones they do and don't want to participate in. They do get, instead of mainly 4-star hotels with Trafalgar, it'll be 4 with some 3-star properties. But those are really the 2 big differences with Cost Saver in case you're not familiar with that brand. On top of that, we do have almost sold out experiences. That's how popular this itinerary is. So I was looking over the days just to see if there was some that I could highlight. All of them were definite, and there was, I think, 10 options available for this year. I think only 4 of those are now not sold out. So it's a very, very popular trip that I highly encourage you to recommend to your clients. And you can see this recent review from a guest who said Cost Saver provided an incredible trip. The guides and provided optional experiences truly made the trip memorable and fantastic. So your guests are going to love it. They really are. And then I do want to encourage you all to be more confident when promoting Cost Saver, especially when you hear guests pushing back on the price of certain trips. You can always fall back to Cost Saver as a great budget-friendly option. And a lot of the itineraries that we offer with Cost Saver are quite similar to what we offer across our other brands as well. But that is everything that I had for you guys. I wanted to keep it under 20 or 30 minutes, and I just hit my target here. We're at 10:29. Happy to stay behind and help answer any questions that you have. Sharon, did not see any Trafalgar Insight with a cruise. So if the one that I highlighted did not, it just had that small ferry visit to Corfu. But we do have other itineraries with Trafalgar that do include the islands, like Greek Island Hopper, We have Best of Greece, which I believe includes some of the islands, or you can add those on as extensions as well. So just keep that in mind. Thank you, Lori. I'm glad you enjoyed the information. I appreciate you hanging out for this live webinar. All right. Any other questions that I could help answer while I have you guys here? If not, I'll let you get back to it. Thank you, Audrey. Thank you, Heather. I appreciate you guys hopping on, okay? Well, everyone, thank you so much for your time. I'll keep you posted on the next Training Tuesday webinar that I host, but enjoy the rest of your day, okay? Bye-bye.